So first, would you just like to introduce yourself for...
Okay, my name is John Nash. I'm a longtime Spring Lake resident. I'm also the supervisor of Spring Lake Township, been doing that for about 20 years. I'm also the chairman of the Spring Lake Lake Board.
Sweet. And how long have you been a resident of West Michigan?
About 35 years.
All right, and what, besides your turtle collecting, what else do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I'm a pretty avid old-time athlete. If you turn around, you'd see I've done 3 Ironman, lots of marathons. I just completed the Grand Rapids Riverbank 25K Saturday.
And what are some of your favorite places in this part of the state?
In this part of the state, well, I like anything near Lake Michigan, but I really like Petoskey State Park. We really like Harbor Springs.
That's nice. And could you describe your role as the Spring Lake Township Supervisor?
Well, as supervisor, you're the top elected official, which means you're kind of responsible to the public. I think the difference is I'm not the person that deals directly with the staff. I deal more with the residents and the policy than, you go fix this water emergency or you go fight that fire, etc.
And what do you think makes Spring Lake or even the Tri-City area special? Like, what draws people in here?
Well, to me, what we have is fantastic natural resources here in Spring Lake Township. I mean, we have the Grand River, we have Lake Michigan, we have Spring Lake, we have sand dunes. And I think what people kind of forget is, what does that do? What that does is draw people that like those kind of natural amenities. And usually those kind of people are well educated, and those people are pretty successful in business, and they're pretty concerned about those things staying. They don't want to see their environment messed with much.
Okay, I'll stop you for just a second. When you respond to a question, could I do look?
Alrighty, and you're obviously very involved with the community and our residents, like you said. So what do you think the if you could come up with 3 things that people value most about this community? You can think on this one.
Well, I think if you think about the 3 things they value the most, obviously education has always got to be way up there. And Spring Lake schools are very good, and part of our township is Grand Haven schools, and they're very good also. I would say the second one's probably got to be environment. They really cherish their resources, and they want to do whatever. And the third one I'd say is they're generous. I mean, it's amazing. I've been involved in so many of the projects around here. The North Ottawa Dunes, we got 500 acres along the lake that your great-grandchildren will be able to enjoy. We just got Ottawa Sands Park, another park. I mean, it just looks like anything that's real good. I was over helping with the Reimagination Station, and the problem they had was too many volunteers, and it was raining. I mean, this community is just philanthropic.
Yeah, we just did some other recording stuff over at the Ottawa Sands right up here.
Oh yeah, good. Boy, is that lake incredible? God.
Easy.
My dad wrote the grant for that part.
Oh, hooray for that. Of course, the thing that was so amazing is they write that grant. John Schultz is a real good friend of mine. I'd like to do this, but they'd never fund it, and it's late. Oh, what the heck. Here's $2 million. And,
Awesome. It's beautiful.
Wow. All right, now we're getting to the meat and potatoes, what we came for. So how did you come to hear about the Grand River Waterway Project?
Well, the first person I spoke to about it, I think, was Al Vandenberg, the administrator of the county. And then John Schultz talked to me about it. He's the director of the recreation department. And then Steve Kemker, all these guys are pretty good buddies of mine. The sheriff talked to me about it. And then Dan Hoffman came and talked to me about his interest.
And can you speak for the public on what do you think the general consensus is so far on this project? What have you heard from the community?
How about
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I haven't heard one positive comment from a resident. And it's kind of interesting because with both of the county meetings, the county board meetings I attended and spoke, not one voter stepped forward and supported it. And it's supposed to be for voters. You know, you think, come on, if you guys are so excited about this, where are you? So, and like the chairman of the Ottawa County Board said, I've never seen so many people, and I've never seen him so animated. Yeah. And our board will vote on May 13th on our resolution, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a slam dunk again.
And what do you think are some reasons for that, about everybody having such a negative opinion?
Well, except for the fact that maybe Jamestown will get some tax benefit, and maybe Mr. Hoffman will get rid of some land and make him money. I see no benefits. I mean, they've had an economic study. I don't think it holds water at all. They've talked about no environmental damage. I assume you've talked to or heard of Dan O'Keefe and all his studies. And you know, you talk, John Schultz, the director of parks, is all opposed. The sheriff is all opposed because it will be impossible to patrol it. And the thing that's funny is they say, oh, you townships will make so much money. And by the way, when it gets dredged next time, you're going to pay for it. And for the police protection, you're going to pay for it. And for these 480 buoys along, you're going to pay for them purchased. Then you're going to pay to have them taken in and out twice every year. And then you're going to pay to store. But you're going to make so much money. And it's so ridiculous. I mean, like the supervisor of Allendale and I are pretty good buddies. And he said, you know, John, we have 12 properties on the river, and they got quite a bit of riverfront, all owned by long-term families that aren't about to sell them and aren't about to put in a marina. And if you look at Spring Lake Township, we don't have anything zoned commercial. It's all personal property, you know, so there's no, and then, you know, and those are the limits of benefits, but what about the shoreline damage and everything else? I mean, we had a very adamant group of residents last year along Grand River that wanted to make it a no-wake area because of all the shoreline damage, and then it's all compounded by the highest water level in 30 years, so, you know, there's nothing good about it. And to be really local, there's two other things that people don't think of. If you get these big boats coming down here, that bridge that they ought to weld close is going to have to open a lot more. That will really make people happy. And what do we know? About every 3 weekends, Lake Michigan is too rough. If all these boats come down, where are they going to end up? In Spring Lake. Do we need any more boats in Spring Lake on the weekend? Nope. So, you know, there's nothing good about it.
Awesome. We interviewed Dan Keefe as well.
Yeah,
he was, yeah.
You know, the thing is, his research, I mean, his is impeccable. But anyway.
He's so
smart.
Yeah, he's
awesome.
I mean, he spent a lot of time. Is that it, or do we have more?
We got a few more.
Okay, fine.
So, in a few Tribune articles, you've been a vocal proponent for the importance of our community's natural resources, like we've already heard. So, would you care to talk about that a little bit more, the value of those?
Well, it's a funny thing. My wife just told me, seems like the Tribune has you covered in a lot of these stories. I guess I'm the point guy. But anyway, it's just, you know, you're looking out for your residents. And this is what the residents think, and this is what the residents want to hear. And, you know, I represent the residents. And I guess I obviously am very in favor of stopping this project. So, you know, it's easy to represent them.
I think could I look at the second portion? Because we ended up double talking a bit about these.
Yeah.
And we talked about the explanation. I think we can move on. You're a pretty busy man.
No, I'm fine. I'm not in a hurry.
Awesome. Yeah. Perfect. Oh, I didn't realize we were in the last two.
Yeah.
there. We're on the last two. So we'll
Okay,
just
no,
I thought we were in the
I'm fine.
Yeah, this is great.
And one of your most recent quotes is, when you screw with the environment, people get very vocal. So why do you think people are so adamant about this issue?
Well, we all love where we live. We love the natural resources. We love our children. We hope for our grandchildren. I spoke earlier about the North Ottawa Dunes Park and the Ottawa Dunes Sands Park. Those are going to be treasures from now on. And if you look at the Grand River, unfortunately, because of short sight, the Grand River was abused industrially for probably 90 years. And the one thing I think should be credited, the people of Grand Rapids really stepped up, and they've done phenomenal things to clean the river. The people in Lansing, as far as I'm concerned, have done nothing. But the Grand Rapids people on their time did some tremendous things. And you look in the last 20 years, you talk to residents along the river, they say it's amazing how much better it got. So, you know, what do you want to do? You want to have a bad time, a good time, and then another bad time? I don't think so. You know, so, you know, I guess the thing, and I think the thing is, since there is some financial backing for this, the residents have to get out and express their feelings. Because campaign finance is real, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, yeah. And finally, in your opinion, what about the Grand River in particular makes it worth protecting? Why should we get our community rallied?
Well, I'd say there's lots of reasons, I think some of which people forget about. It's the biggest river in Michigan. One of the things that I think people forget about, it's the biggest tributary to Lake Michigan. More water comes out of that river into Lake Michigan than any other place. And I think we're all pretty concerned about the Great Lakes. I don't want to talk about it. No, I wasn't going to say anything about our president. Anyway.
We'll keep that out of this.
Okay, but you know, so I just think, and I think the thing is that I know people that have lived on the lake for 20 and 30 years, and they've seen the positive evolution, and they certainly don't want it to regress. And all the scientific evidence say if this project would continue, it would regress. So I have kids, grandkids, and maybe I'll get to see a few great grandkids. Who knows?
Great. Yeah, I think that's all.
That's all we got.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Good.
That
Great.
was